What's up, YouTube family? It's me, K-Steps, and I'm back with Undiluted TV. I'm back with another one. This is breaking news, and this is crazy. This is crazy. So we're going to get right into it. It appears that a young black man, a former college student, has been sentenced to 12 years in prison, plus a lifetime of probation for raping a young woman, but apparently there was no sex involved. There was no actual sexual intercourse involved. Yeah, you heard me right. You read it right. You read the title of the video right. There's a young black man that is now facing 12 years in prison plus a lifetime of probation for rape. But there was no sexual intercourse involved. No sex involved. There was some kissing, there was some touching, but there was no forcible entry, no sexual intercourse of any kind involved. Yeah, so let's get right into this. Now, this first article that I want to read from is from BET. A black former college student faces 12 years in prison for raping girl he never had sex with. The verdict in the case of Albert N. Wilson and the all-white jury is gaining national attention. It should be. And this was published 3 hours ago. A former student at the University of Kansas has been sentenced to 12 years in prison and a lifetime of probation for a September 2016 incident involving another underage student. At the time, they were both underage. At the time, both of these students were underage. Albert N. Wilson attended a bar with a friend and met a girl who was visiting a family member who attended KU. The two were both under 21 at the time and intoxicated when they left the bar to go back to Wilson's apartment. According to the Lawrence Journal World, Wilson was 20 years old and the woman was 17. Both parties agree they met at the popular college spot Jayhawk Cafe while heading to the dance floor. Wilson allegedly lifted up the girl's skirt and touched her while they kissed. Subsequently, Wilson invited the girl back to his place, which was near the bar. Neither party reportedly asked each other their ages. The victim claimed Wilson took her back to his place where he raped her. While he admits in engaging in other sexual acts, Wilson claims the two never had sexual intercourse. Now get this, because this supports his claim. Kansas Bureau of Investigation scientists testified that Wilson's DNA was found on the girl's chest via Wilson's saliva when he kissed her, but no DNA from seminal fluid was found. Swabs were collected from the girl the day after the incident from a nurse at a local hospital. During the trial, Wilson, who is black, initially said he didn't remember all the details of the night, but implied that police were against him from the get-go because of his race. I don't know how to explain this, but I come from a different background than you, ma'am, said Wilson to Judge Sally Picarni, who is white. I just felt like the police were against me at that point. After a 6-hour deliberation, the all-white jury convicted Wilson of rape. Wilson was subsequently given the reported lowest end of what's called for by Kansas City sentencing guidelines for rape. National attention grew after the verdict was handed out. Questions started to arise about the young woman's story, particularly because surveillance footage shows the two were only at Wilson's apartment for 5 minutes before returning to the bar. So in a gist, we have a young black man who was underage, accused of raping a young white girl who was underage. He was 20, she was 17. They were both illegally at this bar. It was a college hangout called Jayhawk Cafe. They were both there. They were both illegal at the time. I'll read to you in another article where they say he actually used somebody else's ID to get in, but her and the other girl that she was with, they weren't even carded. They were never even carded. He meets up with this girl. He's with a friend. He meets up with a girl. They go on the dance floor. You know, everybody's been drinking. Here we go again. Everybody's been drinking. You know, they get a little frisky on the dance floor. He invites her back to his apartment, and she goes voluntarily. They're at his apartment for no more than 5 minutes. Surveillance shows that they are at his apartment no longer than 5 minutes. They go back to the bar together. The next day, she cries rape. She goes to the hospital. Obviously, they do a rape kit on her. There's no seminal fluid, no semen, no DNA on her anywhere from him other than DNA found in his saliva where he kissed her on her chest. So there's no proof that there was any kind of sexual intercourse, anything between them. No vaginal bleeding, no vaginal bruising, no evidence of any kind of rape. And this young man is now facing 12 years in prison, plus a lifetime of probation. Now, I know y'all remember Brock Turner, the white dude that was drunk, and he was charged with 3 felony counts of sexual assault against the young woman that was unconscious, was drunk and unconscious. And he went before the judge, and the judge did this heartfelt, you know, speech about how young he was, and he was too young for his life, you know, to be ruined behind this. And the judge only gave him a 6-month sentence, 3 years probation, a 6-month sentence of which he only served 3 months. And he was found guilty of 3 felony counts of sexual assault. 6 months in prison, which he only served 3, and 3 years probation. And he had sex with this girl, and she was unconscious. So she couldn't give consent, she couldn't resist, she couldn't do anything. But here we have a young man, and we have surveillance showing this young woman voluntarily leaving with him to go to his apartment, only being at his apartment for 5 minutes, and then voluntarily walking back to the bar with him. Then when she goes in to claim that she was raped, and they perform the examination, there's none of his DNA is anywhere in her body. So there's no sign of any kind of sexual intercourse. Even the DNA that they found on her chest came from saliva where he kissed her chest. Not where he had sex with her. And then, I don't want to be so graphic, but we're all grown here. Not where he had sex with her, vaginal intercourse with her, and then maybe pulled out and ejaculated on her chest. No. The DNA that was found on her chest came from his saliva. Because had he done that, had he ejaculated on her chest, there would have been seminal fluid in that DNA. But no seminal fluid was found anywhere. And she went to the hospital the very next day, and the nurse performed this examination. Did the whole swab test, everything. And this is coming from from scientists at the Kansas Bureau of Investigation, at the KBI. Now, let's get into, now, like I said, that article was from BET. Let's get into this one from Vibe. And just as a side note, when I went to do my research and when I went to pull up my articles to read about what was going on and to make sure that, I was getting the facts right and that, you know, the articles were generally saying the same thing. It's funny how I didn't find any articles about this from NBC, CBS, Fox, CNN, none of the mainstream media. You know, Vibe, BET, the African Anglo, something like that. You know, these outsource media. But I found nothing from mainstream media. Like I said, no CBS, no NBC, no MSNBC, no CNN, no Fox, no Washington Post, no New York Times. I thought that was real interesting. So is this something else that they're going to try to hide? Something else that they're going to try to cover up by keeping it out of mainstream media? Because I certainly found no articles or no news clips or anything about this from any mainstream media source. Okay, now let's see what Vibe has to say about it. Which Vibe pretty much says the same thing. College student sentenced to over 12 years in prison for rape, but didn't have sex with the victim. Okay, this was April the 4th, 2019 at 12:35 p.m. by, it's either Desiree or Desire Thompson, probably Desiree. Albert Wilson has maintained his innocence throughout the very complicated trial. Okay, it says the same thing about him being a former student of the University of Kansas. Both were underage and they were under the influence when they left the bar to go back to Wilson's apartment. What happened next has changed both of their lives, leaving Wilson with a sentence of over 12 years in prison for rape, despite the notion that the two didn't have sex. He was 20 at the time. She was 17. Again, like this article states that while Wilson used a friend's ID to get into the bar, the young woman and her cousin who attended KU weren't carded. So these two white girls weren't carded. Okay, so I want to know, you know, has law enforcement or anybody done anything as far as the club is concerned for not carding this 17-year-old girl and her cousin? Again, both parties agreed that they met while heading to the dance floor, which was weirdly titled Boom Boom Room, and danced with one another. Wilson allegedly lifts the girl's skirt and touched her while they kissed. Shortly after, Wilson invited the girl back to his place, which was walking distance from the bar. Again, they state that neither party asked the other's age. Again, she claims he took her back to his apartment and raped her. But Wilson shared a different story with the jury. She didn't seem intoxicated at all, Wilson said, as he claimed the two kissed and engaged in other sex acts, but never had sexual intercourse. Again, Kansas Bureau of Investigation scientists testified that Wilson's DNA was found on the girl's chest, where he said he kissed her, but no seminal fluid or DNA was found. Swabs were collected from the girl the day after the incident from a nurse at a local hospital. Wilson's court-appointed attorney, for Lord have mercy, here we go with a court-appointed attorney. Wilson's court-appointed attorney, Forrest Lowry, stated that the former student wasn't the man he was painted to be in the trial. The now 23-year-old was a Wichita Southeast High School football player with no criminal record. He earned his associate's degree, excuse me, from a community college before transferring to KU and had dreams of becoming a sports journalist. It was a chance meeting. Obviously, my client misread what was going on. Obviously, my client misread what was going on, Lowry said in court. If there was ever a case that deserved a departure of any kind, I think this is it. In court, his court-appointed attorney said, obviously, my client misread what was going on. No wonder he got 12 years. No wonder he got 12 years and a lifetime of probation with a lawyer in court saying some mess like that. How could he misread anything? He invited her back to his apartment. She went. They were there for 5 minutes. She didn't run out of his apartment kicking and screaming. She didn't leave the apartment by herself and run back to the bar and find her cousin. No. She walked out of the surveillance shows them leaving the bar together, going to his apartment, staying in his apartment for 5 minutes, and then walking back to the bar together. Video surveillance showed the two engaging with one another throughout their encounter, and that they were only at the apartment for 5 minutes before they headed back to the bar. Many have questioned why Wilson was given a lengthy sentence, but actual convicted rapists like Brock Turner were given lighter sentences. Like I said, Brock Turner is the little white dude that raped the unconscious girl and got 6 months in jail and 3 years probation, and only did 3 months. So if it's not crystal clear, I mean, at this point, they're no longer even hiding it. At this point, they're no longer even trying to cover it up. At this point, they're no longer even trying to make it look like it's even or it's equal, or that black people even stand a chance in court. Especially not a black man going up against the word of a white woman. And again, because she got a little tipsy, went too far with a black man, did more than she maybe should have done, or more than she maybe intended to do with a black man, and now she has to save face, the first thing she's going to do is cry rape. Black men, wake up. Young black men, wake up. They are not worth it. They will accept your invitations. They will accept your advances. They will go along with it. As a matter of fact, they will boost you up. They may be the ones to approach you. But at the end of the day, when they get to feeling bad about what they have done, or feeling guilty about what they have done, or maybe the cousin had a little something funny to say, why did you go off with that black guy? Why did you let that black guy do this and do that? Why did you leave to go off with this black guy? And so now she's feeling some type of way. So what does she do? She cries rape. Like they always do. And now this young 23-year-old man is facing 12 hard years in prison and a lifetime of probation, and has to register as a sexual offender. For the rest of his life, he has the label of rapist. And he hasn't even had sexual intercourse with anybody. His DNA, his seminal fluid can't even be found nowhere. In this girl, on this girl, or nowhere. But now he has the label of rapist. Folks are on Twitter and Instagram just totally outraged. This is one from Beyonce's firstborn. You mean to tell me there's a video of her showing interest in him, walking back normal, and there is no evidence or DNA that they had sex, and he got 12 years in prison? What the fuck? Then an all-white jury with a majority of women? He was set up to fail. Now, that's just one of many. That's just one reaction of many. 12 years. And there is no evidence, no proof that he even had sex with this girl. That's one thing. The second thing is she was down for this. This was a guy that she had just met. She was visiting her cousin. This is a guy that she just met. Why would she even consent to leave and go anywhere with him? Why would she even consent to leave her cousin at the bar and go anywhere with him? I don't care if his apartment could have been inside the bar. You don't leave your cousin. You visiting. You don't know anybody. The one person that you really know in this whole town, and you gonna leave that person to go off with some strange man that you don't know? Be gone only 5 minutes. There's not a whole lot that can happen in 5 minutes. And then walk back to the bar with him like everything's all right. I guarantee you, her and the cousin had some kind of conversation that night. And she had to cover her butt. She had to come up with a cover story. She had to come up with something. And since he was a black guy, what was the easiest thing to do? Holler rape. And once she had put it out there, she had to follow through. She had to follow through. But DNA and surveillance cameras don't lie. 12 years. Not 12 months. Not 12 months in prison and then 12 months of probation. No, or 12 years of probation. No. 12 years in prison plus a lifetime of probation. And then on top of that, you have to register as a sex offender. So you have the title of rapist attached to your name for the rest of your life. And you haven't even had sex with anybody. They can't find your DNA, your seminal fluid on this woman's body. What did she think he was asking her back to the apartment for? Come on, y'all. She's 17 years old. Now, if she felt threatened, if she felt violated any kind of way, if she felt any type of way unright, or any type of way funny, you know, you done already been on the dance floor with this boy and he kissing on you and lifting up your skirt, touching you and all of that. Okay, so the sexual stuff has already started. But if you felt any kind of way funny, there's no way that you would have then left and went somewhere to be alone with him. If you any kind of way felt threatened, violated, any of that, you would have cut off all contact, all dialogue, all discourse, everything with him right then and walked off the dance floor. There is no way that you would have then willingly left the bar and went anywhere with him. Less more to the privacy of his home. But see, none of that matters. Why? Because she's a white woman and he's a black man. That's why. The most dangerous creature in the world, a white woman. Especially for a black man. A white woman is like kryptonite to a black man. And for the few of you who have had encounters with white women, and you somehow survived it, you somehow walked away from it intact, you need to be thanking God. You need to be thanking God that you didn't end up all hooked up and tied up and set up like this young man right here and so many others like him. 12 years. So you still trust our justice system? Are y'all gonna come out now caping for the white man and cooning and acting like this brother did something wrong? When it's obvious she was accepting his advances. When it's obvious she was just as much into it as he was. Because like I said, nobody was forcing her to leave that bar and go anywhere with him. He had already made his move on the dance floor. Again, if she felt in any kind of way threatened or in danger or violated or angered or anything, she could have stopped it right there and it would have never went any further. She could have put a stop to it right there. But instead of doing that, she leaves and goes off to be alone with him at his place. But I guarantee you, like I said, there was a conversation. Something went on between her and the cousin. When her and the cousin finally got along, something went on with her and the cousin. Maybe the cousin decided that she was going to pick up the phone and start telling folks, well, you know, so-and-so and so did this, that, and the third. And she left with this black dude. And she came back and she had this black dude all over her, kissing all over her and all of that. She had to do something. Because now she was feeling some type of way. And what do they always do when they feeling some type of way? Especially when it involves a black man. What do they always do? Oh, he raped me. Oh, he raped me. Oh, I'm a victim. He raped me. And with all our history, with all the black man's history, with white women, y'all still messing around with them. Y'all still ain't got enough. He would give anything he has right now to go back to that night and totally ignore that white girl. Act like that white girl wasn't even there, but it's too late. Now, do you think for 1 minute he would be looking at 12 years and a lifetime of probation if she was black? Excuse me. Especially when there's no evidence of any sexual intercourse. Especially when there's surveillance showing them interacting with each other and only being at his apartment for 5 minutes. But people, we need to, we need to share this. We need to share this. We need to get this out there. Share this video. Any other videos, that you find about this, share them. Because, yeah, we need to bring attention to this. This is ridiculous. This is just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, this is just them taking it entirely too far. You got a white woman judge. You got an all-white jury. You got a white so-called victim. And all the evidence is being looked over. Just totally being looked over. And on top of that, this young man had a court-appointed attorney. And he's standing up in court talking about, obviously, my client misread what was going on. How you going to misread somebody willingly coming back to your apartment with you? After you have already made sexual advances towards them. You have already initiated the sexual contact. And they still voluntarily come back to your apartment with you. How is that misreading something? Now it would be different if he had never touched her, they had never kissed, anything had ever happened at the club, and then they went back to his apartment and he tried that alone. Then we have no way of knowing whether or not she said yes, no, or whatever. I mean, but come on, neighbor, so much can happen in 5 minutes. And they were only there in his apartment for 5 minutes. But the point is, he initiated the sexual contact and let her know exactly what his mind was on and what his intentions were before they ever left the club. And she still voluntarily left alone with him to go back to his apartment. So if that part of it is true, then there's no way anybody can say that she didn't know what was up. And that she wasn't down for it. Because had she not been down for it, she never would have left. Especially considering the fact, as I said, this is somebody that you know absolutely nothing about. You visited. So we need to share this. We need to get this out there. Somebody needs to do some protesting. Somebody needs to do some marching. Somebody needs to do some standing up and some raising some hell. Because this is ridiculous. This is them taking white supremacy to a whole nother level. This is almost the same as them standing up in the courtroom shooting the boy. So not only do I have to do 12 years hard time in prison, then I have to be on probation for the rest of my life. The rest of his life. Lifetime probation. Now I'm just waiting for somebody to come in the comments and say something stupid. He can't even completely be blamed for not realizing that he was about to be set up by this white chick. Why? Because the generations before him ain't told him nothing. Ain't enough of strong black men stood up to be role models and said, no, son, you don't need to go there. You don't need to go there. As difficult as they try to act like black women are sometimes, that's what you need to get. You need to find you a sister. And y'all need to work it out. But you don't need to go there. Not even for a few minutes. Because a few minutes there can cost you your life. And that's what he found out the hard way. And when you are as young as this young man, 23 years old, a 12-year prison sentence is almost the same as a death sentence. And then after you serve 12 hard years and come out, you still don't have any freedom. You still got probation for the rest of your, probation for the rest of your life. This is just ridiculous. This is beyond ridiculous right here. This is beyond ridiculous. Like I said, they're no longer even hiding it. Just like with the Nipsey thing. They're no longer even hiding it. When you turn around and let the getaway driver just walk out, just walk away because she says that she didn't know what was going on. She didn't know what he was about. She didn't know what he was doing that day. A getaway driver. You driving the getaway car for somebody who has just committed an execution style murder. And you driving the getaway. You go to turn yourself in, they question you a little bit, they just let you go. They just release you. Don't charge you with nothing, don't detain you, no nothing. FBI supposed to be looking for this dude. Homeland Security is supposed to be looking for him. LAPD, Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, and the streets looking for him. If nobody else could find him, the streets should have been able to find him. He was a well-known snitch. But him, the chick, the car, everything just vanishes into thin air for 48 hours. And then they didn't catch him. They didn't actually find him and catch him. He popped up at a mental institution, a mental facility, a psychiatric facility in Bellflower. Nobody called him. They didn't actually find him. He just showed up and somebody happened to call in the tip. And then when they go to arrest him, they treat him with kid gloves. A murderer, a gang member, and a murderer that just executed somebody in broad daylight. And when they go to arrest him, they all gentle with him. I heard somebody make the comparison of how they treated him until like how they treated Dylan Roof when they finally went in the house to get him. How gentle they were and nonchalant and just so, you know, so caring and just, you know, so gentle with Dylan Roof. And then stopped and got him some Burger King on the way to the police. Did they stop and get Eric Holder something to eat on the way to? Because that's the way they was treating him. Like I said, when was the last time you seen white police officers interact with a black suspect like that? Especially one suspected of such a high-profile murder. And he was a gang member. Come on now. So you got the accomplice, the getaway driver just walking free. And as far as I know, they still haven't released her name. And you got them treating him like he was a baby. All gentle and concerned and you know and you know, and everybody just seemed to be all comfortable and laid back and relaxed. You ain't got nobody with no guns drawn. You ain't got no helicopters flying around. You ain't got none of that for him. Like I said, just plain, they're not even trying to hide it anymore. They ain't even trying to cover it up. Then when they get there, they're going to put him off in solitude and talk about, you know, they concerned about protecting him and all of that. Now we got this. They ain't even hiding this. No evidence, no proof of any kind of sexual intercourse. Plus surveillance footage showing that they left together, went to his apartment, stayed gone 5 minutes, came back together. But he's still charged with rape. And not only charged with it, has been convicted of it. 12 years. 12 years and a lifetime of probation. Come on, y'all. They ain't even hiding it no more. They ain't even trying to be careful no more. It just is what it is now. Just is what it is. Take it or leave it. So like I said, I'm waiting for somebody to come in the comment section with something stupid. Even Stephen Wonder wouldn't fumble over this one. He could see this one clearly. And he's supposed to be as blind as a bat in the daytime. Ain't hard to see. Because like I said, they not hiding it. They ain't even trying to put no kind of little teeny weensy cover over it at this point. At this point, like I said, it is what it is. So yeah, this video and any other videos that you see on this, any other YouTube videos that you see on this, please like them, please share them. This needs to get as much attention as it can get, because like I said, when I went to do my research, I could not find not one article about this from any mainstream media source. No Fox, no CNN, no MSNBC, no NBC, no ABC, no Huffington Post, no New York Times, none of that. Like I said, I had to get it from Vibe, BET. No mainstream media source. And I looked. What does that tell you? R. Kelly was all over CNN and CBS and NBC and Fox. That lie about leaving Neverland, about MJ, all over mainstream media. Bill Cosby situation, all over mainstream media. Nipsey, all over mainstream media. But this right here, this miscarriage of justice, this lie, this mess right here, you're not finding this on mainstream media. So please, like, comment, share, please share this video, any other videos that you see on this. Please share it. Let's make this go viral. Let's make this story go viral. This story needs to go viral, just like the video of that white guy beating that black woman in Texas. It needs to go viral. Everybody needs to know about this, because this is just too much. Now, if Donald Trump want to investigate something and he want to send the FBI and the Department of Justice somewhere, he need to send them to Kansas. Because Dorothy done lost the rainbow. He needs to send them to Kansas, honey. Because this is outrageous. I'm not surprised, but it's still outrageous. No, I'm not surprised. Not surprised at all, but it's still outrageous. So once again, y'all, black college student sentenced to over 12 years in prison, plus, don't forget, a lifetime of probation, and has to register when he finally gets out, if he makes it out, has to register as a sex offender. Over 12 years in prison for rape, but didn't have sex with the victim. Let that sink in now. Didn't have sex with the victim. No seminal fluid found, no DNA found, except for from his saliva on her chest where he kissed her. That's it. 12 years in prison. 12 long, hard years in prison. At the age of 23. He's 23 now. He was 20 when this incident happened. She was 17. And both of them were illegally in this bar. He had to use somebody else's ID. Her and her cousin who was also a student at the University of Kansas, weren't carded at all. Rape. He raped me. He raped me. We ain't had sex. There's been no penetration. But he raped me. I willingly left the club and went off with this man that I knew absolutely absolutely nothing about, but he raped me. I was kissing on this man and letting this man touch me and all this on the dance floor. And then when he invited me to go back to his place, I went and left my cousin, the only person that I know, at the bar, but he raped me. He raped me. Hear that, black man? That's the white woman. He raped me. Oh, I'm the victim. He raped me. This has been K-Steps with Undiluted TV. Y'all hold it together and make this go viral. Please like this video. Please share. Please subscribe. Please comment. But please don't comment with no stupid mess. Not with this one. Not with this. This is just entirely too obvious. Please don't. Donate if you like. The link to the PayPal will be in the description box along with these 2 articles. Make it go viral, y'all. We need this one to go viral. Y'all have a good night.